Welcome to Life Recovery Today with Steve Arterburn. In the next half hour, you'll obtain insights and tools to transform your life using the biblical principles found in the 12-step program. We believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience because we all have struggles in life. Struggles with addictions, food, depression, anxiety, and relationships, to name a few. You'll be encouraged to see how others have found a new way of life with hope for the future through life recovery. Your host is Steve Arterburn, founder of New Life Ministries and Women of Faith, author of over 100 books, and a sought-after speaker and teacher. Steve is the co-editor of the Life Recovery Bible, the #1 selling recovery Bible. With over 3 million copies sold, this is the Bible given to inmates by Prison Fellowship and the Pew Bible for the Salvation Army. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, Steve Arterburn here. Welcome to Life Recovery Today. I am hoping that this is going to be a great program for you. You know, within the steps of life recovery, well, we follow one step after another. We don't skip steps. We don't do the 12th step before the step 1. Now, some people do, and of course, there's a problem with that. Well, today we're going to hear from Dr. Joe Elliott. Now, Joe is a psychologist and a researcher in behavioral science. He's a brilliant guy. He's worked with sex offender inmates in prison. He's also an Army veteran, Special Forces. So he is someone, when you're in his presence, I'm telling you, he's somebody that you respect. And for that reason, a lot of folks that work with him respect him both as a man who has physical strength, skills beyond what most of us have, but also his intellect, the research that he's done. He really knows how to help people. Well, you know, we do an Every Man's Battle workshop for people with sexual integrity problems, men with sexual integrity problems. And we don't just let anybody facilitate those because it's so important. There are a lot of people counting on us to do a great job when a man finally ends up at Every Man's Battle. Well, Joe's one of those facilitators, and he does a great job. And so I'm really happy to get to share who he is and his insight. And today we're going to have Joe talk to us about step 8 to show us what it really means, because a lot of people don't fully understand the depth of that 8th step. So here's Joe. He's amazing. I hope you'll agree when you finish listening to Joe.
Hello. Welcome back to Life Recovery Today's video series on the 12 steps. I'm Dr. Joe Elliott, and in this 2-part segment, we'll be taking a look at step 8. In this first video, I'll present step 8 and offer some explanations and insights on how to take it. Then, in part 2, we'll consider common challenges to progress that you're likely to encounter while you're taking step 8. In this presentation, you're going to want to have your workbook or at least some note paper and a pen or pencil. Now, step 8 states, we made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Now, in a few minutes, I'll unpack that in more detail. But first, let's review the general principle of the 12-step program of recovery. Namely, the word step was chosen very deliberately. It's a word picture. When I walk, it is not possible for me to take any step before my first step. And then my next step has to be my second step, not my third or my 8th or my 12th step. The point is, as you embark on your recovery and your study of the 12 steps, there's nothing wrong with reading or viewing ahead. But we do emphatically tell you, don't do any steps, particular work, before you have fully completed all the preceding steps. So why does step 8 fall in the process where it does? Because its success is predicated on your having fully completed step 7, where we, quote, humbly asked God to remove our shortcomings. Now, this is not to say that God will have completed that work, but his initiation of that work, and more directly, the humility that you will have continued to grow in step 7, is very necessary for you to carry on while you take step 8. Or should I say, it will carry you. Also, if you haven't been reminded recently, remember that your best start to step 8 is like all the other steps: prayer. Ask God to have his way in your work, to make you receptive to what will be revealed, and to bless your efforts. Step 8 reads that we made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Now, I'd like you to please circle or write down the following words. First, circle or note the phrase, made a list. Next, circle the word all. Then the word harm. Circle willing. And finally, circle the final word, all. Okay? All right. Let's take a look at these key words in order. First, make a list. That means to make a list. But seriously, this is a labor-intensive step. You need to get several whole pieces of blank paper that are dedicated